All right, I haven't done a Squirtle in a while, so I thought I'd do that today. So let's start the daily Squirtle for April 21st. All right, so if you're not familiar with the Squirtle rules, there's some different coloring things. We got orange and red and yellow, and you can check the rules. I'll leave a link to a previous Squirtle video where I went through the rules a little bit more. Check out the website. But essentially, the red means it's in the column, not the row. The yellow means it's in the row, not the column. And the orange means it's in both. All right, so what should we start with today? Let's see. How about Banjo? Banjo, he's around somewhere. I don't know where he went. He was here just a minute ago. Start with Banjo. Banjo's the name of my dog, for those that don't know. Okay, so there's an N. Okay, there's an N in the middle column and in the middle row. So I'm gonna sort of work off the assumption that maybe this middle cell is an N. It's not necessarily, but there's an O in the first column, but not in the first row. So there's an O in one of these three. There's an A somewhere in the grid, not the first row or the first column. Okay, so not too surprising that there's no J. Let's see. I'm gonna try and guess something with an N in the middle. How about since, maybe? That would be good. Okay, interesting. There's an I. And so there's not an N in the middle here. But there is an N in both the middle column and the middle row. And there's an I in at least one of these two here in this second row. Now we have an E in the last row and the last column. So again, I'm gonna sort of assume there's an E at the end of the word. Silent E seems likely anyways. So let's see, let's go with something, maybe just some new letters that ends in E. There is an S in the first row and the first column, so we could do something like spree, which gives us another, check for the S's, and two more spots for the E's, since there is an E in the last row and the last column. Let's go with that. Okay, there is a silent E at the end, okay, like I figured. Neither of these words ends in S. Okay, so we have an O and an S in this first. These could both start with S. That's possible too. Maybe we'll guess something that starts with S this time. So there's an O in the first column, but not the first row. We don't have much otherwise. Could do something like stood. I don't know if I want to do a double O yet. I mean, for the first column it's good because it checks two more spots for O's, but we know there's no O in the first row. I was gonna say stomp, but we know there's no P. Could do stole. I mean, I don't know that either of these words are gonna start with E. They certainly could. Yes, hi Banjo. Did you hear me talking about you? Another thing that we could do is instead of the S here, we could just go for, new letters, and a cough might be good. It checks. We know there's a C in the grid somewhere. It's not in the middle row or the middle column. We can check the first row and column for C's. Another spot for an O. We haven't done U, G, or H yet. Let's go with that. Ooh, okay, so this is an H here. Interesting. Oh, there's an O in the first column. So we have C, O, and S in this first column, but not in those positions. So, and the C is not third here because, the C isn't third or fourth because of the C's, the white C's here. So it's second or last. Second seems more likely. SC feels like it would make sense. SCO. Something like scone. No, there's no N. Can't be scope, there's no P. Score? What do we know about R so far? Not much. We know there's an R in this row here, the middle row. So if this is O, There has to be an R second or fourth. It can't be third because of the white R here. There's a lot of things that could be still, though. We have an N. There's a G in this middle column or the last column. Okay, so let's work on this one over here. So we've got an H. If this was a G, what would it be? Something like hedge? Do we know anything about D yet? I don't think we know anything about D. That could be hedge, but then what's this gonna be? Ending in D. Can't have an E in it. It can't have an I in it. It has an N for sure. Maybe something like this. What's this gonna be? This can't be E. It could be I. No, it can't be I. It can't be E or I. If that's O, I mean, that might not be O. We don't know that. So, the O could be here. I don't know. This is a tricky one. I like having that end in ND as a possibility. But what's gonna be? So there's no E in the middle row or the middle column. There is an I in the middle column and not in the middle row. So this middle column is an I and an N. And that's all we really know. Oh, we have to have an I in one of these two, don't we? Okay, so if this was I, hinge would be good. Because we do know there's an N, there's an I. So, something that ends in an N. And we know there's an N in this one too, so that would be good to get an N in this guess. And maybe just try and use some letters we haven't used yet. Because I'm not really sure what's going on yet. What about something like lemon? We know there's no E. There could be an O. We haven't guessed an L yet. Or an M. I'm gonna go with lemon. Okay, so I think it's probably hinge here. Yeah, because we know this is a G now, because this yellow G says there's a G in one of these two. Has to be there, so it's gotta be hinge. It's gotta be hinge. Okay, so there is an O in this word, and it's not, oh, it could be here. Yeah, it could be there, right. Which we think there's an O there anyways, potentially because of the first column. So that makes sense. I'm not sure what that's gonna be yet. There's an R, maybe O-R, or, not sure. There's an R for sure, and it's probably second or fourth. It's not third. So unless this isn't an O and there's an R over here, but. Okay, well, we're on the last row in columns. We could do hinge. We don't really need to do the H, N, and E, though. We just need the I and the G. So if we do I and G, which we know these are not I and G because of the white ing, but we need to do an ing at some point. What do we think this word is? This, Well, you know what we know? Let's look at this middle column. There's an N somewhere, right? It's not here because of the red. It's not here because of the orange. It's not there because of the red. This is an N there. Okay, so we've got an I somewhere. It can't be third. It feels like OI is probably not gonna be right. So it would have to start with an I. Oop. Let's make that an I. In, what's this gonna be? In something. What's this gonna be up here? The H makes me think it, like an S or a C. This could be S right there. Something like swish. And that's assuming it even starts with an S. We don't even know that. Or this could be a T. We haven't guessed a T yet. In, I don't know what that's gonna be. I N something O something. We don't know much else about it. And this other one, O R something something N. Organ. 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 What is that? I mean, this could be the I instead of at the beginning, but then you've got... I don't like that. So maybe it's not Oregon. I don't know. I'm a little bit stuck here. So we know this isn't an N. And the problem is, what's gonna come between an I and a G besides an N? Okay, we don't necessarily have to guess the I and the G right now. We could guess something else down here to try and get some more information. So let's do something like, there's no O. It'd be nice to see if there's an A. Actually, what would be nice is an I right here, because if this is not an I, then we know the I is at the top. All right, what about something like right? That lets us check the I here, potentially. We haven't done W or T yet, and we think there might be an R right here. So let's go with that. Okay, so there is an R in one of these two. Probably right there. There is a W somewhere in the grid, which we thought about swish up here, remember? This is not a T because of the yellow T. There is a T in this word though. And this is not an I. Okay, good. So that confirmed a lot of the things we thought were going on. So I'm pretty sure this is, not pretty sure. I have a good feeling this is swish. And that would make this an R, which I'm thinking O-R. S-C-O. R-T-E, yeah, okay, so. All right, let's just go ahead and do swish. Okay, it was swish. Now, what is going on here is the question. We have I-N. What else do we know? We don't know much. Okay, down here, I mean, I wanted to say Oregon, but then I'm not sure what I-N-G-O is gonna be. Ingot, 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 we have a T. Okay, it's Oregon and ingot, I think. So, is there any way we can, yeah, we can't double up on these, because we gotta do the N and the R anyways. So let's just go ahead and do Oregon, okay? It is Oregon. This is gonna be hinge. What's this gonna be? We don't really know much about it. It has an I, which can't be second. Could be T-I-E. It's possible. Something like untie. No, there's no U over here. So this word is S-C-O. What, something like score? Then what's this gonna be? E something T-I-E. I don't know if I like the E there. We don't know too much about this. Oh, this has an I. There's an I in this word. Oh, interesting, interesting. Could it be an I here? Could it be an I up here? Or does this have to be the C? This has... No, you could have a C at the end of the word, but S-I-O something C. Yeah, I think the C is there. The I could be... If it's here, S-C-O-I... I don't know what that is, but I don't know what this is either. S-C-O something I? Otherwise, the I has to be up here. And this has to be the C. Because the C can't be fourth because of the C here. No, the I doesn't necessarily have to be up there, does it? This could be the I. Right? Yeah. Stoic. Stoic. There we go. I like stoic. This is cutie. Hinge. Ingot. Okay, there we go. I think I've got it figured out. So, I mean, let's just do cutie. Cutie. Okay, good. I think we've got it all figured out now. So now we need to do stoic. And then ingot. And then hinge. And there we go. We got it. All right, so I had a little bit of trouble with stoic. That one's really tricky. So stoic is probably an unusual word for some people. Stoic means like very serious and not showing any emotion, straight-faced. Stoic. Ingot, if you're not familiar with ingot, is like a big like a chunk of metal kind of thing is the idea. It's sort of like a hunk of metal before you shape it into something, I guess. It's sort of like the raw materials, I believe, is the correct definition of that. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sure people will correct me in the comments. There you go. That was today's Squirtle. That was a tricky one. I had a lot of trouble with that. Stoic is a tough one. Ingot is a little bit unusual. I shouldn't have had as much trouble with some of the others as I did, but there you go. That's the way it goes sometimes. So let me know how you do with today's Squirtle. Be sure to like and subscribe. Maybe consider clicking that join button, and I'll see you again soon with some more puzzles. This works just like normal Wordle, except instead of getting the yellows and greens on the actual letters, we're gonna get numbers on the right side over here that will tell us how many greens and how many yellows there are. Oh, we can do another P. We can do another P. Apply. There we go. Okay, now this has to be a P. Totally pulled that out of nowhere. Okay. Oh, no, not necessarily, because we could repeat the E or the O. Ozone would be really good there, and that would be a really tricky one with the Z.